highvolumemusicradio.com. The Business Knowledge Broker Hour.
Hey, yo, Guru, you ready?
Business, marketing, accounting, social media, resources, strategies, tips, events. The Business Knowledge Broker Hour.
It's just savage business.
Grants, funding, capital, life
insurance,
annuities, finances, tax tips, strategies, music, business, local spotlights, business highlights, leadership, entrepreneurship. The Business Knowledge Broker Hour. highvolumemusicradio.com.
My next guest that's coming up on the mic, when I say this gentleman is amazing, he is absolutely amazing. You know, sometimes when you flow through life, right? And you know, me, I'm a person, I flow through Facebook, but I find the greatness out there. And this guy is absolutely great. I'm gonna bring up his mic. I just want him to introduce himself. You know, Mr. Steve Worthy, are you there? No problem. You know, on the line, guys, you know, for High Volume Music Radio, Business Knowledge Broker Hour listeners here, you know, we're located in Houston, Texas, but you know what? Like I tell people, I find greatness everywhere. And, you know, Mr. Steve Worthy, we chopped it up earlier, you know, on the lines. And when I say he is the ultimate person and, you know, knowledge individual to bring out the greatness in people in regards to their leadership abilities, and you know, he's just great. So Mr. Worthy, I want you to introduce yourself to the listeners of High Volume Music Radio.
Black and minority leaders, and we help them through their leadership journey, and we just accelerate it by helping them save time and also helping them be comfortable with themselves. So part of our process is making sure that we assess individuals properly and give them the results that they're actually desired. But we also focus in on facilitation, and we focus in on speaking engagements as well. I also host a podcast. It's called The Worthy Podcast, and we assist our listeners with their leadership journey as well. And we create that through our values with community, leadership, authenticity, and growth. And we're just excited about it because we focus on major topics going through using diversity, leadership, and executive coaching. So I'm excited to talk to you today.
Well, you know, all I have to say is thank you for being, you know, the person that you are, the entrepreneur that you are, because the value of what you're giving to your clients is gold. You know, you and I talked earlier on the phones, and we were talking about in regards to leadership. You know, when you learn those great leadership skills, they're not only needed for the, you know, the job market, or, you know, if you're a business owner, so that you can, you know, be that great leader for your team. You know, leadership flows into every aspect and every area of your life.
100% agree. And I always like to find or talk about leadership things or define things by telling them what they're not initially. So leadership isn't position and it's not title. And I think we get caught up with that whole idea initially that we have to be leading a corporation or we have to be leading some type of business unit or something. That is so far from the truth. The other thing that leadership isn't is just rendering an opinion and speaking up. I think the tendency is that we're in a room of people and that person who speaks up the loudest or has a big opinion, we think that that person is a leader. They're not. And so we have to make sure that we're not looking at it from that perspective. But leadership at the end of the day, I just keep everything very simple when I talk about it. It's influence, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's an art. It's an art. Management is a science because it doesn't take into account consideration how you need to actually treat people per se. So leadership is more of the art form. It's because you are guiding people, towards a common goal or result. But you also have to make sure that you have clarity of vision. And I think the one piece that really greatly is apart is that even when you have that clarity, even through times of uncertainty, those are like the legendary leaders that we talk about and we always read about in books or that we admire.
I love that you said that. I love that you started off by saying, hey, let me tell you what a leader is not. And I love the fact that you really with everything that you do, you make sure that people understand, leadership is inside of each and every last one of us in one aspect or another. And I love the fact that, you said, hey, a leader is not, a title. A lot of times people, because even for us, you're a CEO of your company, I'm CEO of mine, but at the end of the day, we're all human and we take value in the great people that work around us, the great people that are, just within our own spaces. And,
Right.
I love the fact that you do, the, Thursday nights, you told me you have something on Thursday nights where you get on Zoom and you tell people about some leadership skills. And I think people need to know more about that because it's something that you do from the heart. You do it to assist anybody out there that want to tap into their greatness. And I absolutely love the fact that you decided to make that a weekly commitment for yourself. Because, as business owners, hey, we're busy doing this. We're busy giving out services. We're doing this. But, hey, we have to take that step back and we have to say, hey, this is for the community. Tell the listeners of, the Business Knowledge Broker Hour a little bit about your Thursday night show with, with the people. Because I want my link this week. I want my link. I'm going to be online this Thursday. I want my link to greatness. So tell the listeners a little bit about that series that you have going on and how it can help others.
Absolutely. Well, Thursday is kind of our day. I don't know how that happened. I just started doing Facebook Live during the day on Thursday. I'm excited about that. But the meeting that you're talking about is I call them Lincoln Learns, right? That's just an arm or a concept that we've focused on. And so we do group coaching sessions, 1 hour group coaching sessions free. We go from 7 to 8 and then from 8 to 9. And then I also do it on Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 and 11 to 12. And we pick a specific topic. The visitors or the attendees fill out a quick questionnaire so I can have more information, a little bit about them. And that way we just make the entire conversation more intimate and more structured towards the people who are attending. So I'll give you a couple examples. So last week and the week before that, we actually spoke to diversity and inclusion professionals, and we talked about how to get buy-in from their executive team for their I call them initiatives.
Okay.
I don't like the word DEI program.
Got it.
So I use the word initiative. So I had just walked them through that whole idea of how to position it and maybe have to reframe it, but more importantly, understanding that everybody sees an issue with an organization from a different level. And so it's important that you take that into consideration. And so I think that was helpful. And then recently we just started, last week, we just started doing imposter syndrome.
Oh,
and so talking
that's
to everybody.
Big. That's big right now. I love that because a lot of people, I want to see, I'm the business guru, but I want you to explain to people because I have explained this to certain people that have asked me about it before, but I want you to give me your take on imposter syndrome.
Yeah, I'll once again, I'll use some people to explain it. Albert Einstein, Michelle Obama, Serena Williams, I think it was Lady Gaga. They have all struggled with imposter syndrome. And here's the thing, 70% of people in one way or another have struggled with it. And what it is that when you've accomplished something of great magnitude, and magnitude is relative, you feel that you don't deserve it. You feel that your achievements were based off of fraudulent skills that you have. Even though you may have those skills, the mental side of that achievement is so overwhelming that you feel that you do not deserve it. Einstein said he was an involuntary swindler. This is the guy that created E equals MC squared. Maya Angelou, her quote says, I have written 11 books, and every time I say, uh-oh, they're going to find me out. So this is a woman who has shaped literature. You know, Einstein, who has shaped every aspect of math, physics, you name it.
Yes.
And you have it that these people are struggling with that. Now, you take it to, make it personal. Almost at every level in my career, I have struggled with that. Even though I felt equipped and knew I can actually do it,
yeah,
I felt at some point in time that I was like, "Woo, okay, how did I make it here? How did I get in this room with all of these smart people?" You know, and I realized that I am smart. You know, I realized that I've worked hard, but there are so many people who are struggling with it and they feel inadequate, and they don't need to. But it's just that, how do we help them get past that and give themselves space so that they can work through that?
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Now, like, when I tell people all the time, like, for me, I know that a lot of times when people achieve something, they're always, fearful of that next great thing. So I always tell people, you have to forgive yourself for that, for having those thoughts, for putting that insecurity within your own head, because it's something that when you achieve something, and no matter, if you get an accolade or not, just the fact that you completed something, sometimes that's the reward. And then when it comes with everything else that comes with it, I totally understand it. I get it. I have witnessed it. I have lived it. I understand. But I had to, sometimes you have to really tell people, like, hey, you are great. And there's nothing wrong with being great. Your greatness, my greatness are on two different levels, because maybe we are great at two different things. But
Correct.
Everybody is great. But, I love that. I love that people are talking about that, because a lot of times people, especially when you talk about like the Lady Gagas and all of that, they feel like maybe they'll lose their audience, or they'll lose their clients, or they'll lose that following. You know what I mean? If they sit there and say, hey, I am a person with insecurities, but I have done these great and amazing things. I think that's more people should have that conversation.
I completely agree. And I think that's part of combating it, actually, is actually identifying it. I actually did a podcast episode on this one that's be coming out later, but I spoke to a good friend of mine who was a doctor. I mean, this guy has accomplished some amazing things in his life, and I was having a conversation with him, and I said, I'm thinking about doing this thing, imposter syndrome. He's like, yep, I got it. I have it. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't even ask you the question. He's like, I got it. He said, every time I'm about to perform surgery, I'm like, oh my God. But then the confidence kicks in. But initially, there's that little piece of like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
And
you
so,
know, that nervousness, that fear thing that, you know, you want to be brilliant, you want to be great, but at the same time, there's that little thing in the back of your head like, okay, all right, take a deep breath. You got this.
yeah,
You got to hold on and just go for the ride.
you got to own it, right?
Mm.
I think that's the biggest piece is that we don't talk about it, and that is what makes it more debilitating for people is when they don't speak about it. There is this oh my gosh, I'm trying to think of the phrase. It's called pluralistic ignorance, and what it is that we don't talk about it, but we think about it privately because we feel like no one else is dealing with it but us.
Yep.
And that's exactly why we don't talk about it, because if we bring it up, it's almost like I hate to try to use it, but like from a mental health awareness issue, right? Depression or things like that, where people don't want to talk about it, but they deal with it in secret and in the dark. And this could be seriously debilitating on a different level from your career standpoint, also your business, because you are sitting there in the paralysis of analysis, and you think that, oh my gosh, Candace is going to find me out, and honestly, Candace isn't even thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm just
Candace
excited.
like,
I'm just excited.
Yeah.
Look, I want to get this wisdom. I want to get this knowledge. And you're like, okay, should I open my mouth now? Should I say something later? Should I?
Yes.
But I love that when you said that you're going to think yourself into paralysis. That's serious. And the thing about it is, a lot of people, they're scared to take that leap in regards to anything, advancing their careers if you're a 9-to-5er, or taking that leap to make that transition to be an entrepreneur. You know, people are really scared to take that leap. And sometimes those are the conversations that have to be known. You know, that's why I always tell people, like, when you come on my show, hey, just be you, because people need to know that, yeah, you know, shoot, I'll admit it. In my mind, I'm a business rock star. But I also am aware that I have other business rock stars around me that make me great.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, I think I'm putting together the framework for a podcast on Michael Jordan on The Last Dance. That I don't know if I watched that or.
Oh yeah.
But like there were just so many learnings from that, you know, and part of that, and if I can say this, people will probably really get upset.
No, say it.
But like, is that Mike? For me, Mike, number one, hands down, best player. But honestly, at that point in time, there were players that had comparable skills to Mike, right? I'm just saying physicality, skills, all those things like that. They had them. What separated Mike was instinct and that killer's mentality of like, I just do not care. I am going after this. But here's the beauty of what he did. He recognized his gaps. He recognized his gaps in weight. I remember in that year when the Pistons just beat him up, and then guess what he did? He put on 15 pounds of muscle.
Yep.
The next year, the 1 year they said, "Hey, you can't guard anybody." Guess what? He came back and he won Defensive Player of the Year. Right? There were just so many other elements to him that translate into leadership, into just the ordinary person that we can extrapolate and we can add to our own persona.
That's true. Because a lot of that is discipline. You know what I mean? Like a lot of that is discipline, and a lot of that is listening. You know, because sometimes we forget, as you know, when we are moving through space and time and we're talking to people, we have to remember that there's a different side of that we have to listen as well. You know?
Yes.
I mean, I love it. I love the conversations that you guys are having with each other on Thursday nights. I love the fact that you take out that time and you really look at what people are talking about now. And I love that you bring that to, you know, your style of leadership and your style of making sure that other people, no matter where they are in their careers, if they're at the beginning or if they are at the top, that you make sure that people know that leadership is everywhere around you. You know, it's everywhere. You know, it doesn't matter if you're the owner of the company or the person that is setting up the Girl Scout cookie stand outside of your local grocery store. You are a leader.
You are, and I put it. I always say that everybody is on a leadership journey. You just are. It just some of you don't know it yet, but you are, and there are a couple like seminal moments that take place within your journey that could either you could take advantage of or you could shy away from and recoil and not see them for what they are. Those could be those moments that really catapult you to the next level, and it could be very small, but you have to listen. So I like what you just said. You have to listen. And here's the one thing I always get the one question about leadership, and they always say, "Well, Steve, who should I lead?" And I said, the first person is yourself. Like, lead yourself. If you are not leading yourself towards a common goal or a result, if you are not self-aware and understand like the blind spots that you currently have, wow, then you can't lead anybody else effectively. So lead yourself first. Understand how to internalize influence and influence yourself. Get off of Instagram and read a book. Right? I'm sorry. I hope I didn't offend anybody, but I'm just saying.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect because when you're on social media and those type of mediums, you're correct. You only get the snippet. You never get the whole volume of work. But you know what? First and foremost, because you gave out a nugget, I have to give you a round of applause. I love the fact that you said the first leader is yourself. You're the first person that you can lead and direct into any realm, any space in which you want to be in. I have to say thank you. Thank you for being my guest today, because you and I we can talk for hours about this, okay? We can talk hours about imposter syndrome. We can talk hours in regards to, the different classes that you've held, and even the fact that, you're someone that said, okay, I have to create a niche into where I can pull people up effectively and put them out there in great leadership roles, or even, find a leader within them for themselves. I absolutely love that. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, I want you to tell the listeners of, the Business Knowledge Broker Hour how they can become a part of greatness. How can they get this leadership training from you? Give the people your social media, give them your websites, give them a number they can call or email that they can tap into the greatness of the Worthy Leadership Group. Because I'm amazed. So tell the listeners how they can get in touch with you.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Well, the first one, I'll give you my email address, and that is Steve at WORTHYLG.com. But the website has everything, and that is www.worthyleadershipgroup.com. You can go on there, check out our podcast. You can also look at all of our services, which is executive coaching, speaking, and facilitation. I ask that you sign up if you're interested in learning more about executive coaching, that you sign up for a free 1-hour discovery session. In that session, we talk about you. We talk about where you currently are and maybe where you want to go, and then how we can help you accelerate that process, but also be a thought partner with you along that journey as well. From Instagram and Twitter, we are at WorthyLG. And then on Facebook, and LinkedIn, you can see us at Worthy Leadership Group. And that's where you can find us. And I'm excited to talk to anybody who wants to connect with me on executive coaching. And you can also reach me. Since I got you here, you can reach me on the phone, 443-290-9339.
Well, you know what?
Thank you, Candace.
Thank you. And, you know, tap into that leader within you. Reach out, you know, to Steve and get that greatness, get that great training. You know, sign up to be a part of, you know, his Thursday night talks. You know, I want you guys to, you know, he said link and learn. That's right. Let's link together. Let's learn the skills to show, you know, the awesomeness inside of us and find that leader in you. Steve, thank you.
No, thank you, Candace. I appreciate it.
All right. Okay, you and I got to talk soon, okay?
All right. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
HighVolumeMusicRadio.com. The business knowledge broker out.
Hey, yo, Guru, you ready?
Business, marketing,